What's up, everyone? This is Al High, host of the Casual Highlight platform, where we strive to educate, inform, and inspire while having the casual conversation about sports. Listen, before I get into today's topic right quick, just want to let you know if you're in the Kansas City area, Kansas side, Missouri side, I know our state is voting. Let me remind you, I know this is not your presidential election year or Senate, but you do have, or Senate or state, but you do have local elections. So if you're in an area where you have local elections, please go out and vote. Yes, bam, I did mine. Anyway, as I digress, I want to get into talking with, so I had a question sent out to me. Shout out to Joshua Mills of iStandard LLC. Go ahead and follow his YouTube page. He has great content for youth and young adults. But he sent me out a question in regards to a good offensive coordinator, or he wrote it like this. He asked me, he said, in your opinion, does one that is a good offensive coordinator make them a candidate to be a good or great head coach? And so I had to sit down and think about this for a moment. And I had to really just go back to leadership. I thought about leaders in the past who have been coordinators who have become great head coaches, not just offense, but defense. You got to think of Bill Belichick. You got to think of Andy Reid. We got to go back to Mike Holmgren, Dennis Green. And then you also think of people like currently the verdict's still out on Cliff Kingsbury. We're just gonna say it like that. They're 7-1 right now. Matt LaFleur. So he asked, is one that as a good offensive coordinator make them a candidate to be a good or great coach? See, here's the thing. When you become, it's one thing to coordinate 15 to 20 different pieces, 25 different pieces in a room. It's a whole nother thing when now you're over 53 people in the room, plus practice squad, plus different coaches. So now you're over an organization. And it's a difference. There have been some that have been able to manage it good, and then there's some who've not been able to manage it. It's some, like we look at the structure. If we go back to Mike Dicker, dealt with the things of the offense, and then his defense was ran by Buddy Ryan. If we look at currently Cliff Kingsbury ran his stuff where he runs the offense. Vance Joseph runs the defense, but he's still the head coach. And the thing with this is you have to be able, as leaders, there have been some who failed at this. Adam Gase didn't work out with this particular situation. If we look at recently, even Hugh Jackson. So it's all about, number one, to be a great head coach, you have to have great assistants and great people around you to move things forward. You have to have great assistants, and then you have to have great scouts who are scouting the people, and then you have to have support of ownership who's above you. That's number one. And so if you have those particular things, anybody could be a great coach, but you still have to be able to wake up every day and lead. You have to still wake up every day and be able to delegate as a head coach. Sometimes you might have to take off if I'm doing play calling. You might not be able to do play calling. Let me give you some other examples. So Andy Reid gave the play calling to Eric Bieniemy now. So Eric Bieniemy has been doing the play calling because he wants to, even though Andy Reid still has his fingerprints on the offense, as a coach, he has to go, might have to go sit in defensive meetings, go find out what's going on with the defense right now, which you need to be doing anyway. But when they went to back-to-back Super Bowls, man, he had to be able to delegate. That's why he lasted so long in Philadelphia. He was able to have great coaches and delegate. And then as a great leader, you have to, if you put people in that position, you have to be able to have them to lead. Have them be leaders and not have the doggone microscope and be a micromanager. See, I think the reason that coaches fail sometimes is that they micromanage, and that this is just me looking outward inward. People micromanage and they want to have all their hands and everything when you've already delegated it. Now, if they're struggling, still guide and correct and be able to come up in there and sit down with them, say, hey, and give suggestions to them. And then if it fails, then we go to plan B. You got to look at the Nick Sabans of the world. Great defensive-minded coach. Probably will go down to one of the greatest college coaches in history, and learn from the master, Bill Belichick. Came from the Bill Parcells tree, where he let the coaches coach. And then if they was out of pocket, he got them back in place. He got them back in pocket. So you can be a great offensive mind, a great offensive genius, but you might not, but either the struggle become number one, wins and losses. Well, how did you get the losses? Probably could have been because of injuries, probably because of coaching, of bad hires of different assistants who were not ready for those particular positions. Could be ownership. So anybody could be good. The question is, are you going to be consistent at what you're doing? Are you going to always evolve as a leader, get better at being a leader? Sometimes when certain things that you're doing not the right way, are you going to pivot and go a different direction? And that's what makes the art of a leader. That's what makes the art of a great coach. That's why certain coaches have been in the league, and not just in the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. They've been doing it for hockey. They've been doing it for 30, 40 years because they was able to pivot and try something different because it wasn't working. They made adjustments. And as leaders in whatever industry that you're in, we're called to make adjustments. We're called to evolve. We're called to look at ourselves, evaluate ourselves, and if there needs to be adjustment, we make the adjustment. Shout out to Joshua Mills, man. God bless your business, man. I stand with you. I support what you're doing, sir. If you got any other questions you all want to shoot me, go to alhigh.com, man. Check out the Casual Highlight page for YouTube, and also check out my podcast, Disrespect Your Senses. Till next time, you know what it is. God is love, and disrespect your senses.